walk through and share some of our own process and our own standards that we use that you can then implement yourself, and we'll share all of these slides afterwards. But my role at Cypress North is really kind of a mix of some operations stuff, but also sales and new business development. So when we're talking about sales and marketing alignment today, I'll really take on that like salesperson part of it. So Mark?
Hi, everyone. I'm coming to you live from Cypress North Studios today. It's great to be here. And my official title at Cypress North is a digital marketing manager, which means I'm the person who interfaces directly with our clients to build their digital marketing strategies. But specifically, I head up demand generation here at Cypress North. So I work with all of our B2B clients, work directly with their sales teams and with everyone at their company to help build their demand generation programs. So as Jill and I walk through what we do here at Cypress North in terms of marketing automation and sales and marketing alignment, I will be speaking primarily from the marketing perspective. So Jill, do you want to take it away?
Sure. So to go over the agenda today, and Matt, you didn't have anything else to add, right?
No, I usually don't.
Okay, good. Just making sure, because you look like, oh man,
it is your show. It's funny, like I'm normally not letting people normally can't see my screen while I'm doing what I'm doing behind the scenes on Zoom, and I'm panicking. So in the best possible way. So
don't panic. We're all flexible here. Everybody's friends, right?
Thank you.
It's good. Well, thank you. So so like we said, we're not here to really tell you like here's why you should work with us. It's more here's what we do and here's how you can do this in your own jobs and in your own companies. So everyone talks about CRM and marketing automation platforms. Marketing automation is kind of that next big thing, right? And that's what everybody needs and it's a new must-have in your business, and that's going to help everybody get better sales and just close more business if you have these automation platforms. But I would say about 3 out of 4 companies that I talk to every week, I get these answers. So I'll say, so do you have a CRM? Do you have a marketing automation platform? And they'll say, oh yeah, we do, but only salespeople have access to it. I don't because I'm in marketing. Or they'll say, yeah, but the marketing people are the only ones that use it and the salespeople won't even log in because they're very old school and they have their own system, right? Or they'll say, yeah, we have HubSpot, we have Marketo, we have Pardot, we have all of these different things, insert name here, right? But we don't really use it for anything more than really like our address book. We just have people's contact information. So I'm seeing a lot of smiling faces. So I'm guessing that is your reality for a lot of you in here or some form of it. So today we're going to really hopefully help you learn how to get your marketing and sales teams aligned so that you can work on this better. Not only on the same page, but working together to use your CRM marketing automation platforms. We're going to discuss laying the groundwork for that sales and marketing tech infrastructure and how to get it set up correctly. Not just, working together, but not having one team run things. It's not a project, it's an ongoing initiative. The next thing we're going to go over is using automation to streamline that lead handoff. So automation is not just an email sending platform. It is a huge tool for so many other things. So Mark's going to talk a lot about how you can use that in other ways to streamline your process. And we hope you learn how to use attribution and communication to kind of maintain that alignment. So like I said, not just a one-time project that you're working on together, but how to get your sales and marketing teams together, ongoing. So the first part, we talk about the sales and marketing alignment, and is this really important? So I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm in sales and Mark is in marketing. And it's cool, we'll just stay in our lanes. And as long as we both stay in our lanes, that's fine. I can keep doing my thing, he'll keep doing his thing, and we don't really have to worry about it, right? So this is a familiar picture. And I think that this really shows the body language. Marketing thinks they're right all the time, and sales isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Sales thinks they're right, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And you see this where they don't see eye to eye, and they think that one is more important than the other. So reasons for this, some of the stereotypes that we hear on the next page. So sales might say, marketing doesn't care about performance. They just want to be creative and think of creative ideas. Or, all marketing leads are the same and they're not great. They're just sending me crap leads. And then marketing might think, sales only wants the unicorn leads. They want these beautiful things tied up with a bow on a silver platter so they can just go in and close them. They don't want to work for it or actually sell to close it. So we hear these myths and these stereotypes, and we want to kind of combat them using technology. So when you work together and everyone's on the same page, this is what we hope for, that marketing and sales can come together with, a high five and love working together. And if this was maybe in February or last year, I would insist that Mark give me a high five in person. Since we can't, and we're all virtual and distanced here in the room, we'll just do like a little virtual high five. And I'll just say, Mark, I really appreciate you as my marketing partner.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you as my sales partner, Jill. You're the best.
So reasons that it's important, not just for this kumbaya, not just because it's less awkward at the water cooler when you get along, but when you work together, you get better performance. So in truly aligned cultures, there's that shared responsibility and shared success. And marketing can make sales look really good, and sales can make marketing look really good. But working together facilitates that better handoff of leads so that everyone gets more closed sales. And isn't that really the goal? The bottom line is your company does better financially, everyone gets better bonuses, everyone has the opportunity for raises. And so working together is really the end goal. And right now, if you're not working together, if you're not aligned in that way, there are sales that you can be losing out on. So we want to make sure that, if you can get aligned, that there are those sales that you can get it on and close. So the first thing that we want to do is really agree on definitions and goals. So this is where it's really important for sales and marketing to work together to make sure that they're setting things off on the right foundation. So coming together, starting that infrastructure, we got to get on the same page. So they want to define the different goals that they have, the stages of a lead, the language that sales uses when they talk to a customer versus what the messages that marketing's putting out. So come together to talk about all those things. But when you're looking at a CRM platform, these are things that you need to agree on. And we'll walk through each of these in more detail. So life cycle stage is where a prospect falls in the funnel. So this is most useful for reporting. How warm is this lead, that we drove, and how many leads are in each stage. Lead status really describes the sales interactions with a prospect. So have they talked to them? Have they connected with them? Have they had a meeting? Have they written a quote? And then deal stage is really a more granular perspective of how close an opportunity is to closing. So to go through each of those in a little more detail, when you look at a life cycle stage, a lot of times people think, well, marketing's job is to drive these leads, and then sales job is to close the leads. So does anybody have a funnel that looks like this, where you have leads and customers, and there's no difference between the quality of the leads or the difference? So when you're talking about life cycle stage, we use a funnel that looks more like this one, where there's different stages. So leads come in, and not all leads are going to be created equal. They may come in and request information from you, and then they disappear and you never hear from them again. Or they may come in and you're communicating with them through marketing messages, and they're clicking on things on your website, they're becoming more engaged, and then they become what we call a marketing qualified lead. And so that would be someone that, because they're interacting with marketing, they're more qualified to go on to the sales process. And then we have sales qualified leads, where sales has talked to them and they're like, yes, this is an opportunity. We're going to quote something for them, or we're going to work with them. So once they become a sales qualified lead, they move into an opportunity stage where there is an active opportunity to work with them, whether you're quoting a project or you're putting an estimate together for them. And then the bottom stage obviously is customers. So not all opportunities become customers, just like not all leads become customers. But by looking at each stage of the funnel, you can measure how well your marketing is working, and it's not just a handoff straight to sales. So The next part is lead status. So within each life cycle stage, we've defined for ourselves different lead statuses. This is a little hard to see, and like I said, we will pass along these slides to everyone attending after. And this is really how we've defined them. And so you can use this as a template to use for yours, or you might change based on your sales language. But within each life cycle stage, there may be multiple lead statuses to understand what's taken place with those. So to hone in on one, within an opportunity life cycle stage, we have on the Cypress North side 3 different lead statuses. Input meeting held, where they've actually talked to them about what they need quoted. Then we have active opportunities, so someone that either maybe has a proposal with them or we're working on the proposal, and then a later opportunity. And that means that the prospect is a fit. There might be something coming down the pipe, but maybe they have a project that's June 2021. So to us, it's important for us to see later opportunities versus active opportunities when we're looking in our system. To get a little more granular, even past that, we have deal stage definition. So every marketing technology platform, every automation platform in CRM has these 3 things so that you can set them up. So deals are really those active opportunities. And when you look at a deal stage, you can see where it is in the pipeline. So I can very quickly look on my screen and see, oh, I have 5 proposals that I'm working on. I have 7 that are out with clients for approval. I have 2 that have progressed to the contract stage where they've approved the proposal, but I'm waiting for contract signature. And then I like to look at on a yearly basis, how many this year have we closed and won? How many have we closed and lost for one reason or another? And then I also have a deal stage of on hold for those later opportunities. So that's a good way of looking at your active opportunities. And I know when some people set up a CRM or a marketing automation platform, they might set up deal stages and have all these different prospects, like in the first deal stage of like researching or hoping to become a lead or hoping to become an opportunity. And it kind of clogs up your CRM. So this is a nice way to see those active opportunities. And Mark's going to talk a little bit about service level agreements as well.
Yep. So before we can dive in how and why we're going to use all these definitions, I want to go through one final definition, and that's service level agreements, or SLAs. I know if there's one thing that marketing and sales can agree on is that we love acronyms. So here's one more for everybody out there. So traditionally, when you think of an SLA, it's an agreement between a business and a customer, but these can also be really useful for your internal teams, and especially for getting marketing and sales aligned. So this is kind of a commitment that prevents any sort of finger pointing or having loose blame going around. It holds marketing and sales to specific goals in order to meet company goals. So for example, marketing may commit to providing sales with a certain number of leads and commits that from those leads, a certain amount of pipeline should be generated. And on the other hand, sales might commit to following up with all of those leads within a certain time period and in a certain way. And this really prevents a blame game from happening when you don't meet your sales goals. Without SLAs, for example, if Cypress North wasn't closing any new business, Jill could easily blame me for not providing her with enough quality leads, and I could blame Jill for not following up with them the way that I think she should be. And we could just blame each other, and that's not going to get us anywhere. But when we have an SLA in place and something doesn't go as planned, we can go back and see, where didn't each of us hold up our part of the agreement? And was there something that one of us should have done differently? And if we both did hold up the part of our agreement, maybe that means that agreement needs to be changed so that we are operating better and more efficiently. So that's the too long didn't read of why we need SLAs and what they are. If you want a more in-depth perspective of why marketing and sales should be using SLAs, I would head over to the HubSpot marketing blog. Ellie Merman, who is a multi-time CMO, wrote the ultimate guide to service level agreements there. So I would definitely check that out if that's something that you're interested in implementing at your company. But really where these definitions come into play when we're implementing them in the marketing automation platform is how marketing and sales should interact with a prospect at each of those stages and statuses, and kind of what the go and no-go zones are, what the fly and no-fly zones are at each of those steps. It's important that marketing and sales aren't stepping on each other's toes, because when that happens, it disrupts the sales experience for the lead. It's really important that either only marketing or only sales is interacting with someone at a given time, so that a prospect isn't getting a mixed message, they're not getting confused. We want to create a very streamlined experience for them. So looking at each of these lead statuses, there are different actions that are happening on behalf of marketing, on behalf of sales, and within the marketing automation platform. So I know this is a little bit hard to read. I'm not sure what size screen everyone's looking at, but within lead, we have new and open. So at the new status, that's when we're creating the lead, we are updating the lifecycle stage, and it's a temporary sales no-fly, because someone who is a lead, they just downloaded a piece of content. They didn't indicate any sales interest. So if a salesperson immediately follows up with them, it doesn't come off the right way. They were just trying to look at some content, and now you're trying to sell someone something. It's not a great experience for the prospect. And then open is just a way of sales letting marketing know that they've started to reach out the lead, they've seen it, it isn't lost in your CRM. This open status is a great way to make sure that we're actually using our CRM properly, and that leads are being routed to salespeople instead of just being thrown into a storage bin. With marketing qualified lead, we also have new and open in the same way, but with new for marketing, this isn't a no-fly zone. This is when sales should engage with someone. They have been qualified. They indicated they have purchase intent. We want to make sure that sales is being assigned this lead and that they're seeing it. The one status that is different from marketing qualified lead to lead is connected. And this is how sales lets marketing know that they have made a connection with the lead. They've either responded to their emails, they've had a phone call with the lead, so that marketing knows that they should stop. The marketing should not be sending any emails to the lead, because the salesperson is now sending those emails. And this way, that lead is not getting a mixed message. They should be unenrolled from any automated emails. They should be unenrolled from email marketing campaigns, and they should be unenrolled from advertising. We only want the salesperson to interact with the lead once they've connected with it. Meeting scheduled is when a consultation or a demo, depending on what your offering is scheduled, and you're going to actually have an in-depth conversation with the lead about their needs and your business. And here it's just lifecycle stages updated for reporting. And again, marketing still should not be interacting with this person. If that sales qualified lead doesn't progress to opportunity and is put in nurture or follow-up, they can be re-enrolled in email marketing, so that we're keeping in touch with them over time to nurture them to opportunity. Once lead status is input meeting held, so after that meeting scheduled has occurred, the life cycle stage is updated to opportunity. It's still a marketing no-fly. Same with active opportunity. If we're working on a proposal with someone, we don't want to market to them. We just want them to be with the salesperson. And then if they get put in that later opportunity, they can again receive that email marketing, keep nurturing them, let them know what's going on with the company. And the same thing is true for your customers. Once someone is in deal one, you may still want to email them every once in a while, share your newsletter with your customers, look for opportunities to upsell them. Email marketing is okay with your existing customers. It's actually encouraged to keep them engaged over time. And then lastly, we have other. and this is the status of dead. So when a lead is declared dead, we do not want either sales or marketing to get in touch with them. This means that it is a waste of sales and marketing's time to work on this person. So we want to make sure this dead status lets us know that it's not worth it. Do not put your resources here. And that just streamlines the whole process. And basically lead status lets marketing and sales know how they should be interacting with a prospect at any given time. So now that we've defined all of that, I'd like to turn it back over to Jill to touch on how we actually use automation.
Sure. And one of the things that's funny when you said dead, Mark, a couple people here giggled a little bit. But just to define, like we use dead when somebody is trying to sell us something. So they might fill out a form on our website as if they want to start a project, but it's really someone that wants us to start a project with them and they're a vendor. They're not going to become a client. We also use it for career seekers. So someone that's trying to apply for a job, we don't want them to get all of a sudden they're in our funnel as a lead because they're, a student at UB or something. So we use it in a lot of different ways to kind of catch everybody in that dead lead status, but it doesn't necessarily mean people are dead. So yeah, using automation. So there's a ton of different tools out there, right? And these are some that you may have seen. There's some that are more complicated than others with a lot of bells and whistles and different capabilities. There's some that are more stripped down that are less expensive, but all of them are basically used on a baseline for the same things. So the three things that you really want to use your marketing automation platform for are traffic generation, lead conversion, and lead nurturing. And again, when we looked at that kind of two-stage funnel, this is how marketing and sales traditionally think that marketing is supposed to generate traffic and leads, and then sales is supposed to convert them. And that nurturing part is kind of lost in there, like whose responsibility is that? And so in using these platforms, lead nurturing becomes both marketing and sales responsibilities, not just sales in that manual follow-up way. So when do you want to nurture leads? So anything with a longer sales cycle. So I think a lot of us here have those types of products or services that you don't just direct someone to their website and they buy something from you. You have a longer sales cycle. So here's kind of a workflow that we have for nurturing leads. So someone might fill out a form on our website to download a piece of content. So that might be an infographic, a white paper, anything that's really helpful to your target audience. Because they're not going to download a sell sheet, right? They don't want to give you their information so they can get like your $99 package sell sheet. They're going to give you their information to download something that's, 8 tips on how to do X, Y, and Z, something that's really helpful to them in their business or as a consumer. But once they give you that information, they're entered into a nurture flow and remarketing audience. So the nurture flow gives them emails at different cadences to continue to offer helpful advice, give them calls to action of how to contact you and become one of your customers and gets them down that funnel as a warmer lead. The lead score increases based on their marketing engagement. So if someone downloads that white paper and they go away and they never contact you again, they never engage with your website again, they're gone. But if they're clicking on your website, they're looking at other case studies, they're clicking on the contact page, their lead score goes up. And then you know that they're getting warmer and they're a better sales lead. Once they reach that target lead score, they get assigned to a salesperson. So it could be, if you're the only salesperson at your company, you automatically get it. Congratulations. But if you have several salespeople, you can set it up for by industry, by geography, by size of company, lots of different things. And then once they're assigned to the salesperson, that's when sales reaches out to schedule that consultation. So that's how we see, in a simple way, lead nurturing. And next is an example of an asset that we use. This is a B2B digital marketing white paper that explains a lot of different channels and different ways to use digital marketing if you're B2B, if you're selling a B2B product. And this is kind of the start of one of our workflows that someone can fill this out and get the download. So, and Mark, you can explain a little more about that.
So the idea with this asset is that someone might come to our website looking for B2B digital marketing help, but they don't necessarily know if they want to work with us yet. They just have a problem they need to solve. So someone might download this ebook that walks you step by step how to solve common B2B digital marketing challenges, and they just want help. So they're downloading this. They're signaling some intent, but it's not purchase intent. They're just identifying that they have a problem. So we're not quite ready to sell someone who downloads this. We need to nurture them and prove to them that we can help them solve their problem. And we still have to prove to them that we are the solution to their problem. So when someone downloads this asset, instead of being enrolled in some sort of sales flow where Jill's following up with them, we enroll them in a multiple email sequence so that we can start building trust. And that is what you have to do with any content leads, any top of funnel leads. It's really important to immediately start engaging them and start building trust with them by sending them helpful content. And there's a big problem with a lot of people don't know how to do this properly. It is really important that we really monitor how many emails we're sending, what kinds of emails we're sending, because we do not want our leads to feel harassed by us. We don't want them to feel like our emails are spam. It's really important to remember that this is a give and a take. We have to offer this lead something of value in order for them to feel like they should be offering us their time and ultimately, hopefully also their business. It's really important that you have a reasonable schedule. At Cypress North, I do a decaying schedule. So someone will get an email immediately. That's just a thank you email that has the asset, just briefly introduces who we are and just giving them what they came for. Then there's 4 more emails that someone gets. They'll get another content email a day later that is related to that asset to help push them on to the next step. 3 days later, they'll get even more helpful content. And this is really filling out their problem, giving them the solutions that we have, and through content, just showing them how to do something, not telling them to work with us. After we've built that trust by giving them that content, we'll send another email 5 days later that really positions us as the solution to their problem. And then a final email another week later, which is a final push for getting them to get in touch with Jill to schedule a consultation or an audit with her. So it's really important when you're sending these types of emails just to remember to be helpful. You're not very forcefully trying to sell someone. You're trying to take someone and help them solve their problem through this nurture flow. So here's kind of what the B2B marketing guide looks like. This is an example of the second email in this flow. So this is offering an additional content piece we have on our blog that relates to the guide this person downloaded. So we're trying to give them more content to help them on their way and take the next logical step in their journey. And this email you can see here, we made it look like it's actually coming from Jill. We used a plain text format. It comes from Jill as the sender. It has her signature. If you just glance at this, you wouldn't know this is an automated email. And that is the point. We want this to be a personalized experience, even if it is automated on our side, because we're trying to build trust here. And this is really, while this is what the customer sees or the lead sees, this isn't the only thing that we're automating in terms of the sales process. In the background, there's actually multiple things you can automate. And this is just kind of an example of what an automation flow would look like. There is a trigger, which is our form download. So the one on the left is if someone submits the contact form. So this is a bottom of the funnel request. And here we automatically assign that person to Jill. We set their lead status to new. We set their lifecycle stage to marketing qualified lead, and we subscribe them to email. And those actions are all taken in our marketing automation platform. But if you look on the right, this is if someone downloads content, they're still assigned to Jill, and their lead status is still set to new, but they're marked as just a lead. And that lifecycle stage lets Jill know that this person did convert, but they aren't requesting to speak with her. This is just someone that she should be watching and monitoring, and this person's being nurtured, and they're also subscribed to email. And in addition to these types of actions, you can also create tasks for your salespeople, and manage anything, any sort of action you can take in your CRM, you can automate. And this is really important, especially for bottom of the funnel leads. So someone trying to get in touch with you, that you want to make sure that you're responding to that lead within the first 15 minutes of them converting, because they're probably still at their computer, they're ready to receive a call from you, and they're much more likely to convert if you're immediate with it. So you want to make sure that these leads are automatically being sent to your salespeople, and that they're getting a notification and they know how to follow up with them. So we can make sure all of that happens using this. And these types of automations between the emails and the tasks allow us to automate the sales process without taking away from the personalized aspects. So we're taking kind of what Jill would normally do, personalizing her approach to a prospect and allowing that to happen consistently to every person who interacts with us. And it's really scaling a personalized experience for the leads in order to free up some time for Jill. And I'm not automating this because Jill is lazy. And I'm not trying to take Jill's job away. What I am doing is making sure that Jill doesn't have to chase leads down. She has enough time to focus on having quality interactions with the prospects we most care about. And so that Jill's awesome sales process can be made personalized at a replicable scale, which is a win for both of us because it's going to result in more closed won business.
Just to add to that, when he showed you those emails, that was another point where at every kind of campaign, every asset that the marketing team would develop, I would work with them to make sure that it's speaking to my prospects and people that I want to target, but also make sure that this sounds like me, because hopefully these people who are getting these automated emails, eventually they're going to be someone that I'm actually emailing with. So we made this sound like Jill's voice. And this may not be the voice that like another salesperson has. They might be more like, "Good morning, Mark. How are you today?" You know, they might write different things. I don't know. So like I helped write these because they sound like something I would send if I just met you and I was sending you an email. So it's really important, as we said, for everybody to be aligned all the way through, not just setting up your system, but whenever you're doing a campaign, to make sure that those sound, you know, like the salesperson. Sorry to cut it.
No, great. Thank you for that, Jill. And another tool we have with marketing automation to nurture our leads along and push them to that next stage in the funnel is remarketing. And traditionally, people think of remarketing as kind of you visit someone's website and ads follow you around the internet. And that's not the whole story. There's also a type of remarketing known as CRM remarketing. And that allows you to build targeted lists within your CRM that you can sync to ad networks and serve very personalized ad content to prospects who you're trying to schedule a meeting with. So for example, if someone downloads the B2B guide, we'd probably want to retarget them with a request a consultation, a contact us, to try to get them to take the initiative to talk to Jill and learn more about our company. Or if someone subscribed to our monthly newsletter, we might want to retarget them with the B2B guide, as you see in this Facebook ads example, in order to move them to the next step, which is downloading a piece of content that signals a problem that they have. And I love doing this because you have to think about, well, email helps you reach a lot of people. It doesn't help you reach all of your prospects. open rates for email are on the decline, and some people just don't check their email very often, or you might only have their personal email and not their business email. And this just gives you an additional way of reaching those prospects and converting them down the funnel, taking them to that next stage in the buying process. And this can be done across Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, those display ads you see on the sides of articles, and much more. And what's really important here is, again, we don't want to harass our leads. We don't want to serve them too much. And we don't want to interrupt the sales process. So this is, again, a handy part where we had those lead statuses before. Those lead statuses are also being used to unenroll people from these remarketing lists. So we're not serving ads to people who are talking to a salesperson. Our last major tool for lead nurturing is actually the first thing that a lead sees after they submit a form on your site, and that is your success page. And you should treat your success page or your thank you page as a tool to take that lead to the next step. Give them the next logical step in your journey. And one of the best ways to do this is to have a calendar tool. So the one you're seeing on the screen is from HubSpot Meetings. That's what we use here at Cypress North, but you can also use Calendly, and there's a host of all other solutions there. So if someone submits the contact us form or the request a consultation or schedule a demo, whatever that purchase intent offer is on your site, it makes a lot of sense to let that lead self-select when they would actually like to meet you. This can double your conversion rate from marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead, because it takes the salesperson doesn't have to chase the lead down in order to schedule that meeting. The lead is doing it themselves, and they can easily compare your calendar tool to their availability. It allows that person to take the next step in that journey on their own. And it really reduces a lot of friction in the traditional funnel here. And the great thing is, with a lot of calendar tools, you can also use them in your emails. So those nurture emails we talked about before, those last 2 emails, we are pushing Jill's calendar in there so that that lead can schedule a call with her to learn more about us, and so we can learn more about those problems. Calendar tools aren't the only thing you can do there. So for example, when someone downloads the B2B guide, we're not ready to schedule a call for them. So that thank you page might be a request a consultation or a contact us. But if someone downloads a more higher funnel piece of content, we might want to show them the B2B guide, and they can download that on the thank you page. So there's really a lot of things you can do. Just make sure your thank you page is helping push that lead to the next step, so they don't have to go looking for that next step. They can get there on their own. Now, we're creating all of these leads, and we already talked about there's multiple ways a lead can convert. They might be marketing qualified already. They might be a lead the same. And all leads are not the same. They are not all created equal. And we can use marketing automation to help sales discern how these leads are not equal and which ones are most important for them to follow up with. So looking at lead scoring, there's kind of 2 ways we can use it. We can take those content leads, so anyone who downloads the B2B guide, and we can qualify them as ready for sales or not ready for sales based on any additional engagement they have or anything about them. And we can also help sales prioritize leads in their queue. The leads with the higher score are the ones they should follow up with first and spend more energy on than the ones that have lower scores. And there's 3 major ways to determine lead score. So first, we have marketing engagement. There can be positive actions like email opens, email clicks, page views, form submissions, video views, any engagement with you as a company. And there can also be negative actions, like if the lead unsubscribes from email or they view a careers page, signaling that they're not someone that sales should be talking to. Next, we have contact information. Think about things like which job functions make the best lead for you. Job seniority, geographic location, whether they have a business email or a personal email in your database. These are all things that can signal how likely someone is to convert to the next step. And then lastly, we have company information. Think about things like company size, company annual revenue, the industry that is in, and think about how you can validate whether someone is a good fit for sales based on those factors. So when someone hits a target lead score, marketing qualifies them and says, sales is ready for you to follow up with. This person is quality and we should be trying to sell to them. Now that we have all of those things set up in our marketing automation platform and are using them to align marketing and sales, we need to make sure that we are communicating with each other and are leveraging lead attribution in order to maintain that new alignment that we have. So from marketing to sales, we need to be aligning on what channels and offers we are using to generate leads for sales and being clear how sales should follow up with leads based on those differences. So thinking of channel, we have organic search. So someone can search something on Google and get to your website. And we have Facebook ads. We are creating an audience and serving ads to people that match that audience, and we are going out to them. Someone who comes to us is going to have much higher purchase intent than someone who we have to pay to go out to. So sales in that case should prioritize the organic search lead over the Facebook ads lead. Additionally, as we've talked a lot about, what the person came to us through, the offer, what they gave us their information on, is also highly signals their intent. So someone who requests a consultation is much closer to being ready for a sale than someone who downloads our B2B marketing guide. And while aligning on that is great, it's just as important to make sure that sales can easily find that information, because if sales has to dig for that information, it's just going to waste their time and it's not going to be useful. So we need to make sure that what offer the lead converted on and where they came from is very easy to view on the contact record. So we need to make sure that our marketing automation platform and our CRM are set up to collect this data. Most higher end marketing automation platforms collect this automatically. If you get the right budget solution, it will also collect it automatically. And you can set up custom fields to collect this. And then we want to make sure we can see it in our CRM. We want to customize the contact record, the lead record, so that this shows up in a place where sales can easily find it. And we want to ensure that this is trackable from click to close. We want to see this on the lead, we want to see this on opportunity, and we want to see this on an account. We want to make sure that we can attribute any business back to our marketing campaigns. Now, the most important part for me is to hold weekly lead stand-ups. And this is a meeting between marketing and sales where they can continue to be aligned. They can pull in lead and opportunity records directly from the CRM to continue to learn, refine, and optimize their processes. And here in this meeting, sales is providing feedback on the quality of leads so that marketing can change what they're doing to improve the lead quality of leads coming in, focus on the things that are working, stop working on the things that are not. Marketing should be ensuring that sales is following up with leads in the way that we agreed to in the SLA to make sure that no leads are slipping through the cracks, that everyone is doing a stellar job on following up. And both teams should be syncing on progress towards funnel goals and efficiency of particular channels. I know most people are like, I don't want another meeting. This could waste my time. People often hate meetings, but this meeting is one that we need because this feedback on quality will help us improve our marketing over time, which means we get higher quality leads. And higher quality leads means sales is spending less time chasing leads and it's able to convert more of those leads. So over time, these meetings actually save time because you're not getting low quality leads that take a lot of work to convert, you're getting those awesome leads that are perfect fit for your business. So while this might be a time commitment up front, this is a big win for sales over time because they will be spending their time where it matters in the future.
One of our clients lovingly calls Mark the lead police because every week he questions their salespeople where the leads are, and he does it very kindly, and they like it because he's keeping them accountable. But it's a great weekly meeting to have and a good tool. So on to the next big thing. As we know, CRM and marketing automation, it's a buzzword. It's the next big thing that everybody needs, and you need to have this. And we're hoping that through this session that you really learn the key things to look for when you're looking at different automation platforms to use, how to set up these things like life cycle stage and lead status and deal status, all the definitions that you should be honed in on, and the functionality that you should be honed in on. But also, we hope that you learned how to align your sales and marketing team. I think we really try to drive that home, and using automation for more than just email, and also continuing to communicate and optimize. So these things are really important when you're starting out using a CRM marketing automation, or also if you have one and you're kind of resetting a little bit. We also included here, and like I said, we'll share these slides, some links to some helpful content that explains in a little more detail. Mark talked about a little bit about CRM remarketing. We have a great article that goes into a lot of detail of how to set that up for yourself. Also the HubSpot blog that he mentioned on SLAs, and our B2B digital marketing playbook, which helps set up some of those things for you as well. So we hope those resources can be helpful to you. We also, as I said, we are a digital marketing agency. We have a weekly digital marketing podcast called Marketing O'Clock. It's the largest marketing news podcast. It's on the Search Engine Journal Network. And if you're doing any kind of digital marketing, that can help you a lot with tips and tricks as well, going back and looking or listening to some of those. So hopefully this is just the start to get you started on those things. But do you guys have any questions? Already coming in on this.
I have a question. You talked about basically I call them drip campaign, the email follow-up marketing. What kind of conversion do you think is acceptable or not? Getting responses back even.
Sure.
How do I measure it?
So Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about metrics on the marketing workflows?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So in terms of reply rate, it is rare that someone will automatically just reply to your email. I see that more in industries where people aren't used to technology. So I used to sell a cloud-based restaurant point of sale platform. And with that, a lot of restaurant people, they're one of the last industries to really adopt cloud technology. So for them, a lot of those people were just responding to the email. With a lot of our clients that we work with, people are converting on the links we include in the emails. So they're requesting a consultation on the form. They're using the calendar tool. And using it that way, I think in terms of when we're doing something like the B2B guide, I see about probably maybe a 40% conversion rate from lead to SQL there for the best in class of when I've seen things be a really good fit. But I would probably goal yourself maybe at a 10% conversion rate if you're starting out of everyone who's enrolled and then eventually books a call. And just remember to check that over time. One really big lever to pull here is to make sure that your emails are meeting best in class email metrics. So think about these emails should be highly related to the content. So your engagement here should be above average. If it's not, you need to tweak your emails. So normally for a nurture flow, I see open rates of around 30 to 40%, but the average email open rate is only 24%. So you want to make sure those metrics are above average in terms of clicks and opens if you want to actually see those lead conversion metrics down the funnel of actually taking someone from lead to marketing qualified or sales qualified.
Testing. Just looking at what you're saying, and we've all had that situation where you are already talking to a salesperson, then you keep getting those emails and they're not related, and so that's really important as we talked about setting up automation to make sure that people aren't getting them anymore when they shouldn't be. Does you have any other questions? Sure.
Just can you high-level marketing automation platforms? We don't have one right now, but we've been talking about it. Mm-hmm. Can you get order of magnitude on costs for these, like annually? I've heard upwards of $100,000 or $200,000 a year. Is that actually accurate?
Sure. So it's kind of like asking what a car costs, right? Yeah. You could buy a car for $500 on the corner somewhere, or you can pay $100,000 for a car. Most of them are based on their contact tier levels. So if you have a database of 500 people, you're going to pay a lot less than someone that has 3 million people in their database, a huge national company or a big e-commerce company, something like that. But the difference in tools too, an active campaign is one that we recommend that's a much simpler, less bells and whistles, but easy to use. And that may be a couple $100 a month. HubSpot is one that we really like, but it does get a lot more expensive. It has a lot more bells and whistles. And that minimally is around $700, $800 a month. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark.
Yes. So I would say kind of the three tiers of what I would consider for marketing automation. So the most basic one, if you just want to send like those email flows, you can use MailChimp. And I think that's off the top of my head, probably like $10 or $15 a month. That one is really affordable. The next tier I would say is what we recommend is Active Campaign. And that is a much like scaled down version of HubSpot. You can automate emails and do email newsletters and things like that. But you also get all those other automation functions that we discussed in those other flows. So Active Campaign has just about everything you need to run marketing automation, but the price is really cheap. It's between $50 and $150, depending on what you need out of the tool. So that one is the one that we recommend for our clients who are on a budget. And kind of what I would consider best in class is HubSpot. That can do anything you could possibly ever need from a marketing and sales automation perspective. You can send outbound email, you can send inbound email, you can schedule social posts, you can do CRM retargeting, you can manage your ad campaigns, you can do reporting. It does everything. That starts at around $800 a month and goes upward based on your contact tier. The one thing about Active Campaign is that there isn't as much of a contact tier change there. That is pretty flat pricing. That's more feature-based, whereas HubSpot is both feature-based and contact-based. And then the one thing to point out is that HubSpot has a free CRM. Oh, what's going on with this presentation? HubSpot has a free CRM, so you can test that out and see if it's a good fit with you before you commit to that price.
An Active Campaign actually has a free trial as well, I think for a week or 2 weeks that you can do. Both of those systems also have really great support, and they have really great tutorials online, not just about how to use the tool, but also, marketing and sales friendly tutorials, like things to think about. So both of those have a lot of free resources, and then once you become a member, they have a lot more behind login. But that's why we recommend them a lot. One of the systems that we joke about a lot is Pardot. That is very complicated, and people like to use it because it's under the Salesforce, but it doesn't really integrate well with Salesforce. And Mark will go on a tirade about it if we
Yeah, you can go look at my Twitter. I have a whole thread about why Pardot isn't great and why it's a myth that it works well with Salesforce. HubSpot and Marketo actually work better with Salesforce than their own product Pardot. They acquired it and want you to think they built it. It isn't that great. It's really complicated to use. And it's about the same cost as HubSpot, but you get much less functionality.
So those are some things to look at when you're pricing them out or when you're evaluating them. So.
I think I'd throw in there more like for a discussion. We made the mistake of we had a platform and then we switched to a cheaper option just to realize the salespeople didn't want to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to retrain them. So like just spend the money, get the $100,000 car and train once and don't switch. Like that's a very big costly mistake.
And that's a great point. It's like usability is something that's really important to consider when choosing a platform. You want to make sure there's something that's a lot of documentation so that your people can learn it easily and that it's not a struggle for them to learn it. They don't have to put in a lot of work to learn how to use it. It needs to be something that will integrate well with your team's existing workflow. We had a client switch to Pardot and they switched before they started working to us. We started working with them and they were having all these problems because their team couldn't use Pardot. So we ended up switching them back to HubSpot and walked them through that process to make sure that their team could work effectively and they were actually getting the value out of the platform. So thank you for that point.
And that's another point. Unless you're a team of one and you're the only person in your company, then more than one person should be involved in choosing it and implementing it and creating all these definitions. You need to make sure you get buy-in from all angles. So that's an expensive lesson you learned. You didn't want to use it. Do we have any other questions from the chat? I know Mike said go HubSpot. So that's good.
I can also relate to HubSpot. I think it's phenomenal. And I don't have a marketing sales background. I have like an HR background. So if I can figure it out, it's pretty user friendly. I don't have the Cadillac version though. I think we're at like the $50 a month one, but it's serving its purpose
for the sales
for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a great scalable system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a one-man show, so I do whatever I do for sales and marketing, so I'm not as familiar. I'm going to ask what I think is a dumb question, but there are no dumb questions, right? So if you are promoting, if you will, these HubSpot and these other, what do you guys do? So if I called you up to say, I want your services, how would that work?
Sure, so we help people get set up in them so we can talk about what the best platform is for you, for your budget, for your business, and then we help you walk through this whole process. We do the technical side of like actually setting it up in the system, creating those emails, those workflows, things like that. But we also do a lot of the digital marketing. So one of our core businesses is paid advertising. So we do Google search and display, social advertising, all of those things to drive people to your CRM. So that's one of the other things that people hire us to do. Yep.
So that's good to know. The question then becomes, where does Mark come in on the police, if you will? Like, so we do like pay-per-click, right? I have tons of leads. We get like 500 a month. We like managing and monitoring is the hard part. Is that stuff you guys would do all the way through?
Yeah. So for a lot of our clients, we help them set it up and then we monitor it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And so our people are the ones bidding on those pay-per-click ads and adjusting the audiences, doing A/B tests, all of that to create that demand.
And then you would go into the back end of our CRM creates the lead to see if salespeople are actually doing something with it and measure like all the way, because we have people do the front end and then it gets into our system and salespeople don't call them. So like I need to pay the police.
So that's when Mark comes in.
I need the police.
Yeah. You need Mark, Officer Mark here at your service.
You got a lot of criminals running around.
Yeah, and his weekly meetings are really interesting with his clients because he looks at that full funnel breakdown of how many leads do you have, how many are marketing qualified leads, how many are sales qualified leads, how many are opportunities, like where are people progressing? And then where are those most important ones that we prioritize? Where are the ones that are maybe not as valuable, but there's still an opportunity? And he breaks that down every single week for his clients and looks at, how much it's costing them too. So if you're spending $10,000 a month in digital marketing, how many of those leads are you getting for $10,000? How many are progressing to this stage, to this stage, to this stage, and looking at that ROI. So, sorry, Mark, do you want to add on that? That's your process, not mine.
Yeah, so basically what I do is I go through channel by channel, so like Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn, and by each campaign, and every other week I go through all of the leads that came in, how they were followed up with, where they stand in the funnel. And then every week I go through all of our sales qualified leads and our pipeline so we can see how the business is doing and what kind of return we're getting from our paid campaigns to make sure that we're generating a positive return. And if we're not, I suggest projects that we can do and changes we can make in order to make sure that we're producing those quality leads at an efficient rate and we're making a return on that dollar. And then also making sure that the sales team is up to date on which campaigns we're running so that they know where these leads are coming from so they can customize their follow-up to what the conversion is.
Anyone else have any questions before we wrap up? Of course, Mark's not here, but Jill's here. So if you want to catch her on the way out and get her card and find out how you can use her services or thank her for her time or both, definitely do that. A couple of quick programming notes. I don't even know how to remove the spotlight, so we can see anything. That's exactly what we're doing now, right? Next event that we have coming up for BNSME is on November the 23rd. It is our progressive networking, and based on current market conditions, we have decided to make that a completely virtual event once again. We are partnering with our friends at Grow Buffalo Business. If anybody follows them on Facebook, etc., they have a pretty large membership of entrepreneurs and salespeople. So they will be joining us, helping to promote and also having their members join us as well. So that's November 23rd. You can register at bnsme.org. Jean, help me with pricing situation on that.
Free for members.
Free for members. That's all you really care about because you're all going to be members before the day's over anyway. Of course, if you like what you see and you want to be a part of the premier, if not only sales and marketing organization in Western New York, I won't say the oldest because I don't think it is, but go to bnsme.org. Our pricing has changed based on the pandemic situation, so it's much more affordable. I don't know. I don't.
It's 1942.
1942. Wow. Perfect. It was a good year. Greatest generation. But if anybody has any questions about that, send an email to Jean or myself, bnsme at bnsme.org, or check out our website. You can find me on there. About 25 pounds ago, my picture on there. You can click on that and you can find information. That's all of us now, right? And that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate you all coming out.
Thank you, everyone.
The technology is amazing, and I've already figured out some new ways I could have done this to make it even better. So.
See everyone. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks everyone online.
Where do you want us to put these?
Hey, Tony.
Those bags down there.
Huh? Yeah. Thanks, Evelyn. See you later.
Lots of drops. Oh yeah.
Matt, you doing okay?
Nice.
What's that? Oh, I should stop recording.
I have appointments all weekend.
Have a good weekend.